Edwin Montagu and Chelmsford, the Secretary of State for India and Viceroy, respectively, announced a scheme of constitutional changes for India, which can be known as the Indian Councils Act of 1919. The Act enlarged the provincial legislative councils with elected majorities. The governments in the provinces were given more share in the administration under the Dyarchy. Under this arrangement, all the important subjects like law and order and reserved finance for the white men were directly under control of the governors. Other subjects such as health, education and local self-government were transferred to elected Indian representatives. Ministers holding transferred subjects were responsible to legislatures, but those of research were not under the governor of the province. Could overrule the ministers under the special veto powers, thus making a mockery of the entire scheme. The part dealing with the central legislature in the Act created two houses of legislature. Central Legislative Assembly with 41 members out of a total of 144. Upper House known as the Council of State to have 60 members, 26 to be nominated. For both the houses had no control over the Governor General and his executive. The central government had full control over the provincial governments. As a result, the power was concentrated in the hands of European authorities. Vote also continued to be restricted. The public-spirited men of India had extended unconditional support to the war efforts of Britain had expected more. The scheme, when announced in 1918, came to be criticized throughout India. The Indian National Congress met in a special session at Bombay in August 1918 to discuss the scheme. The scheme was termed disappointing and unsatisfactory by the Congress. The colonial government followed a carrot and stick policy. There was a group of moderate political rebels who are to try and work the reforms. Led by Surendranath Banerjee, they opposed the majority opinion and left the Congress to form their own party, which came to be known as the Indian Liberal Federation. The hierarchy, Indian society, and the contradictions found in the expression of caste association movements to question the dominance of higher castes. The Namasutra movement in Bengal, Eastern India, Adi Dharma movement in Northwestern India, the Satya shodak movement in Western India, and the Dravidian, the Jyoti Phule and Dravidian movements in South India had emerged and raised their voice by the turn of the century. They were all led by non-Brahmin leaders who were questioning the supremacy of the Brahmins and other superior castes. It has first manifested itself in Jyoti Phule's book of 1872 titled Gulamgiri. His organization Satya Samaj underscored the necessity to relieve the lower caste from the tyranny of Brahmanism. The growing influence of the Brahmin caste. Two trends emerged out of the non-Brahmin movements. One was that the process of syncretization of the lower caste, and second one was the radical pro-poor and progressive peasant labor movements. While the northern and eastern caste movements were led by Sanskrit, the western and southern movements split and absorbed by the rising nationalist and Dravidian left movements. However, all these movements were critical of what they called as Brahmin domination and attacked their monopoly and pleaded with the government through the associations for justice. In Bombay and Madras presidencies, clear-cut Brahmin monopoly in the government services and general cultural arena led to non-Brahmin politics. The pattern of the movement in South was a little different. The Brahmin monopoly was quite formidable, as with only 3.2% of the population, they had 72% of all graduates. They came to be challenged by educated and trading community members of the non-Brahmin caste. They were elitist in the beginning, and their challenge was articulated by the non-Brahmin manifesto issued at the end of 1916. They asserted that they formed the bulk of the taxpayers, including a large majority of the zamindars, landlords, and agriculturists. Yes, they received no benefits from the state. So Man-Brahmin Manifesto was issued at the end of 1916. The colonial government made use of the genuine grievance of the non-Brahmins to divide and rule India. This was true with Brahmanetra Parishad and the Justice Party of Bombay and Madras presidencies, respectively, at least till 1930. Both regions had some social radical possibilities. as could be seen in the emergence of a radical Dalit Bahujan movement under the leadership of Dr. Ambedkar and the self-respect movement under the leadership of Periyar Swamy.